Yo, what's good? Episode 187, Stash House Podcast. Your boy Tyler checking in. First time listeners, thank y'all for tuning in. If you tune in weekly, salute. And it's just an episode, saw some topics you may want to hear about. Salute to you as well. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, whatever you do to help support the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. All streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor app, YouTube. Subscribe, leave comments, reviews, put your people on. Anything y'all do to help support this podcast, thank you so much. Once again, I can't say it enough. Thank y'all so much. This is the 4-year anniversary for Stash House Podcast, my creation. So thank y'all, everybody who's been enjoying me on this journey, riding with me on this journey, whether you listen to 1 second, 1 minute, a full episode, if you've been here from the jump, if you just got in tune, if you listen sporadically throughout the years, just all around, thank y'all so much. Y'all keep me going. And this is something I definitely enjoy doing. Just looking back at it now, it's like, damn, it's been 4 years. 2022 alone, y'all seen new things coming to the podcast, new dynamics. Obviously, the YouTube brought a different aspect to the game. So thank y'all so much. Different things lined up. Y'all know me. I stay low and keep firing. I don't speak too much on the timeline about this podcast, what this podcast doing, what I got planned for it. I just always believe in do the work. Just do the work. Whether it's good, bad, indifferent, whatever, you got to do the work regardless, man. And people going to see it. People going to see it. The growth, bringing in different guests, bringing in different topics, different conversations. I plan on doing more of that. Just bear with me. I got things lined up for the upcoming weeks. I plan on ending 2022 on a strong note, so just continue to bear with me. And it's great to see the growth. It's great to see the growth, starting from where I started from with this podcast. When I post, I don't tag 1,000 people in the post. I just let the podcast do what it do, and I handle everything I need to handle outside of the podcast. It's a brand new form of media. I keep on saying it. Yes, it's a million podcasts. Yes. You just got to orchestrate your podcast and work your podcast to the best of your ability. That's with any form of content, any job, any work, whatever. You got to work it to your best ability. It's not just for podcasting. It's for everything, every aspect of life. So that's just the mindset I go into it with. Just treat it like I do my job because I've been consistent with it. That too. Like I say time and time again, yeah, it's been times I didn't want to record, but I recorded anyway. It's been times where I don't want to say down on myself because I do it for fun, but you just looking at like what else is supported in the grand scheme of things. You like, damn, y'all support that. Y'all support these dudes, what they got going on. Whether you know it or not, like I said, when y'all repost, when they be disrespectful to a certain gender or whatever, when y'all repost it, that's damn near supporting them because you bring a light to what they saying. So you get discouraged at times, but you got to keep on going. You got to keep on going. Like I said, that's with every aspect of life. I'm running the marathon like everybody else. Please do not think I got this figured out. I'm running the marathon just like everyone else. I don't have all the knowledge I need, so I ask people who I know have more knowledge in a certain department than I do. I'm learning just like everybody else. We all run this marathon together. Speaking of that, on a funny note, if you see how I got my clips, they're horizontal, right? Horizontal. I want to learn how to get them to be vertical for clips and reels, because you got to keep up with these things, man. Like, I'm not on TikTok like that. I do reels on Instagram, but it's more like clips, honestly. YouTube got shorts and everything. Like, I'm still learning the game like everybody else. So, yeah, y'all seen the growth within this podcast, but please do not think that Tyler has it all figured out. I'm learning day by day, week by week, month by month, just like everybody else. From content to putting out the content to making it look like, yo, okay, if I put it this way, maybe somebody will click on it. Somebody who I don't know will click on it. So I'm learning day by day just like everybody else. I'm running this marathon just like everybody else. And we're here to help each other in the long run. Like, if you got any questions for me, don't hesitate to ask. If I'm knowledge in that department, I'll give you all the help you need. You know, it's a brand new form of media, this whole content thing. Yo, if I never hear the word monetize again, I would be straight. It's plenty of ways to monetize it. Me personally, when it comes to money with content, I'm more the side of I just want to feel comfortable with my product to the point where I know I'm getting paid when I'm supposed to get paid. You know, I'm not selling my soul for a few bucks. That's just me. That's just me. But if you can get your money, if your content, if you've been getting your money with your content, continue to do that. Just make sure that paperwork right. I'm not the person to ask about monetization and all that. So my only advice to that is make sure that paperwork right. Make sure the information you're giving them people is suitable. Make sure you trust them and get several people to look over it. When I say several people, several lawyers to look over it. Just don't sign away for a couple bucks because you don't know what that content, you don't know if you're signing over your rights, whatever. So just be mindful of that. That's the only advice I can give anybody when it comes to monetizing on their product because that's not my field. You know, I just put the content out to put the content out, and I'm looking to build rather than just get a quick buck. But that's just me. So all in all, once again, thank y'all. Continue to support. I got a lot more things lined up for y'all. And me personally, I'm just sticking to the script. I'm sticking to the script. When I first started this podcast, I had a goal, what type of information I want to put out to the world, and I'm sticking to that. Y'all know I'm not comfortable about talking about different topics without somebody else here to give off a different opinion, a pushback if needed. So just bear with me. I got things coming up. And all in all, I'm still enjoying this. I'm still enjoying this, man. As y'all can see, I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun. I'm about to get into these topics in a minute with new music. Like, as long as the music around, sports, entertainment, Tyler will be just fine when it comes to podcasting. Like I said, yeah, it's times I feel like, dang, it's a slow news week. I really don't got much to talk about. I'll make the best out of it. You're going to have those days. I've been putting out content for the most part, week by week by week for 4 years. Y'all think every time I record, whether it's via my phone, just a rickety mic, and now coming to the studio, y'all think I'm happy-go-lucky to come up and record every single week, you're wrong. But guess what? I do it because I enjoy it. So whatever it is you do, whether it's your job, your hobby, whatever, content creating, whatever, my best advice, just enjoy this shit, man. Just enjoy this shit. And to end this, like I said, I don't want to milk this section off. To end this, quote the great Young Thug, hustlers don't stop, they keep going. Hustlers don't stop, they keep going. 4 years, Stash House Podcast, just getting started. Now let's get to these topics. So let's get into this new music. There's a lot of new music over the weekend. Something for everybody, rap, R&B / rap, whatever you want to call it. So let's go and get into this new music. First off, we have Division, Working on My Karma, 12 tracks. Features, we have Blue and Jagged Edge. Those were the only 2 features. In terms of production, Jermaine Dupri is all over this album. I told y'all before, Ari Lennox was in the studio heavy with Jermaine Dupri within the past couple of years. Division as well was in the studio with Jermaine Dupri, and a lot of production from Jermaine Dupri on this album. 12 tracks, short and sweet, so I enjoyed that part of it. In terms of this album, y'all know I'm a fan of Division. The way they wrote this album out, the first track, If I Get Caught, really wasn't for me. I expressed that numerous times on this podcast. That first single wasn't really for me. So I was really anticipating this album just to see if they're going to make up for that because they did get a lot of flack for that song. And overall, this is a very, very true R&B album, which is what I'm happy about. And when I say very true R&B album, for one, outside of that first song, If I Get Caught, from my ears, I didn't hear a lot of samples. And y'all know in R&B nowadays, almost every other song you hear has a sample to it. So I enjoyed the fact that Jermaine Dupri kept it very limited when it comes to sample because it got to the point where I was just tired of it. And I believe even in Division case, their last project came out 2020. I want to say they had a couple samples on that project, but this one was a very, very true R&B album. And back to what I was saying about R&B nowadays with this whole toxic phase and all that, from my ears, I didn't hear a lot of toxic lyrics. I'm sure they're in there sprinkled, but it go back to my point of what I was saying, yo, that toxic shit is cool as long as the song is great. And for my ears, it was a lot more of the song is good rather than, oh, these toxic lyrics stand out more than the actual song. So that's what I got from this album. Once again, a very, very true R&B album. And I say that because I feel like I got to listen to this album at the right time. I feel like just a regular weekend listen didn't do this album justice for me because it's a very true R&B album. It's not like an R&B album where, yeah, you can just chill and vibe to. It's like, nah, you need a companion on the side to listen to this album, in my opinion. But they do have some great songs. I like that Stay Faithful record. I like that Hating record a lot. The Hating record was a very different type of division song, but it put me in the mind of, okay, their first two projects was very, you know what I'm saying, OVO based. Their last project was like, it was OVO, but it felt like, okay, they growing with their sound. And this project with this Hating song, Policy, Take It Slow, those are records I'm like, okay, they kind of get into their own zone. Now they breaking away, they becoming their own person. So, I mean, their own group. So that's dope to see. My favorite is probably Daniel's Interlude. Daniel is the lead singer of Division. Like I said, Division is two people. Daniel, the singer, and 1985 is the producer. But Daniel's Interlude on this project is probably my favorite song. So if you haven't, check out Division, new project, Working on My Karma. Like I said, 12 records. Great R&B. Great R&B. We're going into November. So, yeah, this is definitely something I need a companion, or it's one of those R&B. It's not like I said, just you can chill and vibe to it. It's like, nah, you wanna be cuddled up with something while listen to this album. So if you haven't already, check it out. Next up in new music, Westside Gunn, 10. I mean, fam, 12 records, a gang of features. We got Doughboy, we got ASAP Rocky, we got Black Star, we got Stove God Cooks, we got Westside Pootie, who his daughter, Rome Streets, Busta Rhymes, Raekwon, Ghostface Killer, Easty Knack, Keisha Plum, Run the Jewels, Armani Caesar, Conway, Benny, and Jay Worthy. And this just goes to the point of Westside Gunn being the curator. Like, yeah, he raps and he does what he does, but this album, he's definitely, really this album and his last album, really, and the album before that, like the past 4 Westside Gunn albums, he's really getting to this curator, you know what I'm saying, damn near underground DJ Khaled mode for real when it comes to these albums, how he just put people together. Like, he'll rap, but it's more about who's featured on the song more than him, honestly. Stove God Cooks, another one. Like, everybody's waiting on Stove God next project. He's all over this project. The first time, this album is the first time, only one song, he had the song with Doughboy. I think it's the first song on the project. This is like the first time I heard Westside Gunn on a different type of beat. Like, I know I always say Westside Gunn stick to the traditional Griselda sound, but that one song he did, you know what I'm saying, go a different way, and I really didn't care for that song. It goes back to what I say. You can experiment on different productions, different beats. I'm not mad at you experimenting, but when it comes down to, do I like it or not? And the song with Doughboy, I like, I see what you did, but I'm cool on it. But everything else on this project, I mean, the song with A$AP Rocky, crazy. The track with him and his daughter, Westside Pootie, when Pootie, she been doing this since she was like a baby, like coming on the songs and saying, yo, y'all can't fuck with my daddy, whoop-de-whoop, that song hard. But Westside, he's really getting to this curator mode. Like, he's invested in it now. Like, he been saying it for years, but now it seems like, okay, when you just add on this many artists with legends at that, you got Wu-Tang, you got Ghostface and Raekwon on it. You got Run the Jewels, Killer Mike, Busta Rhymes. When you put the legends, I mean, shit, you throw ASAP really in that mix, you know, in terms of the new generation. So when you're doing that, man, I got to salute Westside Gunn. This project, I have to live with it a little bit more just because it is a lot of features. You know, I don't look at this like I do Hitler Wear Hermes 7 when it was just, you know, a little bit of features. But this one is like a gang of features on it. I'm not mad at it, but I want to know what that Michelle Records project coming out from Westside Gunn. That's what I'm waiting for. Because he said Michelle Records supposed to come out instead of Hitler Wear Hermes 10. I'm not sure if he just changed the name of the project, but the Michelle Records project, if he has those beats that he been putting on Instagram, the beats he been like just throwing out on Instagram with He just like a little mini vlog. If those the beats that's on Michelle Records, that's the project I want. That's the one I want. Those beats, man, those soulful ass samples that he been dropping on Instagram, and talking about Michelle Records, that's what I want to hear. But all in all, this 10 project, it's definitely a curator Westside Gunn project. This is not the album I'll say, yo, if you want to know about Westside Gunn, listen to this album, because this is more like underground DJ Khaled mode Westside Gunn. Like, he's rapping, he'll spit a verse, but it's more about the feature. So if you haven't already, check out that project. 12 records, Westside Gunn, 10. Next project, one I was very, very curious on listening to, and I couldn't wait to listen to it, honestly, Smino. We have Smino, Love for Rent, 15 tracks. The features, apologize if I mess up any of these features' name. I'm not too familiar with a lot of these people, but just bear with me. First, of course, everybody know J. Cole, Doechii, I know Fat Man Scoop, Cruiser, Cal Bance, Lucky Day, Felix, Corey Henry, Raven Lene, Lil Uzi Vert, and Reggie. So a very lengthy feature list. Like I said, some names I'm not too familiar with, but I was curious to listen to this Smino project because I've seen Smino name around for some years now, but it's been more on a feature type of thing than the actual, I know his albums. Like, I pressed play on his albums before. I remember hearing Smino and saying, okay, I'm going to check out his album. I listened to his albums, but nothing really stuck with me. He damn near fell into the Big Sean category for me in terms of I was more familiar with his features than I was with his solo work. So I was very curious because I saw people on the time like, yo, Smino dropping. I was like, yo, I was unaware that Smino had this type of audience. So I was very curious on listening to this project. And overall, it was cool. It was something to play. The second half of the project, I really felt like, okay, I'm understanding his music more. Like the song Old Ass Kendrick, that was dope. Euphoria was dope. Matinee, More Than a Minute with Lucky Day, that was probably my favorite track on the project. I like what he does. I'm not sure if this is a normal thing for him, but what I noticed throughout this album, on certain songs, in the middle, towards the end, he'll just vibe out. He'll just do this thing because he can rap and sing, but when he gets into his little singing, the little singing thing he does at the end, I'm like, okay, like he was vibing. I'm like, okay, I like this. It was something to play. It's something to play, and it's something I'm like, okay, if I go through the albums I got on my list or whatever, I'm like, okay, if I don't got nothing I'm in the mood to listen to, I could probably throw this on. It'll get me to point A to point B. So overall, as a person who was not too familiar with his solo work, this album, I'm not mad at it, honestly. It was something to play. Like I said, in the weekend where music dropped that it was something for everybody to listen to, I mean, there was something to put in the mix, definitely this Smino album. I definitely recommend it if you're looking for somebody new to listen to like I was, because, like I said, I wasn't too familiar. Like, he been around for a minute now. I just wasn't familiar with his solo work. Like, I heard him on the JID album. I think he was on JID album. No, Isaiah Rashad album he was on. He was on the Dreamville, Revenge of the Dreamers album. I think he was on that Chance album that nobody really liked like that. I think he probably had one of the highlights on that Chance album a couple years ago. So I was familiar with the name, but in terms of his solo project, I was like, I don't know. I never, you know what I'm saying, checked them out like I needed to. So for this album, I was like, okay, I get it. Like I said, it's something to put on if you in that mood, in that vibe. And I think him and JID are going on tour together. And trust me, him and JID tour, whether you know it or not, they gonna be out there. Trust me, that whole lane that they got, this not mainstream, but they like right there, that clique, they be out there. Trust me, they be out there. Ever since I went to J. Cole concert a couple years ago, trust me, I just feel like most concerts you go to that at least, you know, one bad chick like their music, trust me, it's a gang of them that like it. And Smino is one. If you go to Smino Instagram, you would be like, okay, I feel like he's going to have him at his concert. Because I went on his page and I was like, okay, I see bruh style, I see how he coming. I feel like they're going to be out there for the JID and Smino concert. You might got to look for him because JID got a different fan base as well. But I think Smino going to bring them out. So if you in tune with JID and Smino, you want to go see them live, I believe they're going on tour together. So be on the lookout for that. Also, other music that came out I didn't get to, Money Man, Blackout Project, check that out. Kodak Black, Cutthroat Bill, Duke Deuce, Memphis Massacre 3. So like I said, it was a gang of music came out. We had the Jeezy and Drama Project come out last week. A project that was supposed to come out this week but didn't come out. Drake and 21 Savage have a collab project coming out called Her Loss. It was supposed to come out this past weekend, but it didn't. I believe Drake was the one that posted it saying 40 had caught COVID. So I'm wishing for a speedy recovery for 40. He caught COVID, and they're having sample clearance issues. So I'm going to talk about that more if and when we get that project, because like when I saw the tweet last week or whatever, like, yo, we got a collab coming out, I had my thoughts, and I'm going to let that be known more when we actually get the project. I don't want to just talk about it, and I don't got no project to really, bag it up. So to recap on the new music, like I said, we had Division, Working on My Karma, very, very R&B project. Check it out, 12 tracks. Also, Westside Gunn, 10, Hitler Wear Hermes 10. Check that out as well, 12 records. And like I said, Smino, Love for Rent. Smino, Love for Rent, 15 tracks. Check that out. And like I said, you had Kodak Black drop, Duke Deuce drop, Money Man drop, and we still waiting on the 21 Drake collab project. So that's this episode. Like I said before, thank y'all. 4-year podcast anniversary episode. I ain't want to drag it out. I ain't want to milk it. Y'all see what's going on. Y'all see the things I got in works. Y'all see what I'm doing over here in this podcast world. So, what's understood don't got to be explained. That's how I look at it. So thank y'all for tuning in. The episode 187 Stash House Podcast. But you guys go out. Have a great work week, a great school week. Keep me in your prayers. I do the same for y'all. Salute.